Hey, in this video, I want to share with you 4 ancient ideas that will transform how you see AI and your future. Because yeah, AI is new, but deep down, the biggest questions AI raises, they're not. We've always asked, how can we use power with wisdom, and how in an ever-changing world can we find peace? Our first 2 ideas will explore ancient perspectives on how we can wield that power without it destroying us. And then the last 2 ancient ideas are personal, because this isn't just about technology, it's about you and me, our happiness, our freedom. AI can shape our thoughts and control us, or we can develop the wisdom to master our minds and our destiny. Let's find out how. Trying to control the world, I see you will not succeed. So that quote came from this person, Lao Tzu, who lived in ancient China around 500 BC. He was the founding thinker of Taoist philosophy. One of the key ideas in Taoism is that if you try and hold on to something too much, you grip it too tightly, then you lose the thing that you're actually looking for. Like if you try and block a river, it's going to flood and find different paths. This is called the paradox of resistance. And DeepSeek is a perfect example of that. America, wanting to maintain its AI dominance, banned advanced chips being imported into China. But instead of slowing down their AI research, that meant that DeepSeek had to innovate to try and get more computing power out of simpler chips. The consequence is DeepSeek is actually a genuine AI innovation, created from millions of dollars of investment instead of the billions that companies like OpenAI and Google have been spending. And in some ways, this is great news for humanity. Companies like OpenAI, even though they say they're called OpenAI, really want to become a monopoly like Google has been for the internet era. They want to dominate and control AI development. But it's actually looking like AI innovation can happen in a more distributed, decentralized way. And our philosopher Lao Tzu would be happy about that because he studied the ways of nature. That's what the Tao of Taoism means, the ways of nature. And he saw that, say in the forest, there isn't somebody with a clipboard telling the birds what notes to sing or how high the trees to grow. Everything in nature is spontaneous, self-organizing, distributed. And that decentralization is what makes life so resilient, surviving for billions of years. So for you and I, can we learn the ways of nature, understand the power of decentralized systems, and support those who are advocating for AI to become more decentralized? You know, I have questions around whether we need AI. I think we probably don't, but it's happening anyway. We can't stop this force or control it, as the Americans found out, but what we can do is shape it. Can we as citizens and then nations put money into decentralized research so that AI serves humanity? But this does beg a question. If we can't control AI, then who should guide it? And how do we ensure that AI serves humanity rather than just those in power? And our next philosopher, Confucius, has some answers for us. Hey, before we continue with the video, have you subscribed to my newsletter yet? On the way, weekly ideas for balanced living you can read in a couple of minutes, quotes from teachers from around the world, as well as some short ideas from myself. I think you'll really enjoy it. Click the link in the description to subscribe. Hope you enjoy today's video. If a ruler governs with virtue, the people will follow as the grass bends to the wind. Confucius taught that a great ruler does not dominate through force, but leads by moral example, like the North Star, which stays still while all the other stars revolve around it. Morality, virtue, goodness seem like almost naive things to be talking about in terms of global power and how to set up our world. And yet today, as in history, the power of goodness and morality can be something that influences people and countries and the planet if it's done in the right way. Because if we're exploring how is AI going to shape our future, is it going to be a war between China and America, each one trying to dominate the world and bring other countries into their sphere of influence? Let's say a country is trying to choose which team to join, America or China, and both America and China offer the same amount of wealth and power as each other, but one leads with virtue and goodness and keep to their word, whereas the other one is short-sighted, greedy and dominant. Which one is the country going to choose? Almost certainly the moral good one. And this is one of Confucius's main teachings. Even if you are competing with a ruthless opponent, if you lead so powerfully with wisdom, it can be that others follow you instead. And if we look into the history of the last decades, that's really what America was selling to the world. Freedom and democracy, which people genuinely wanted. And then yes, the USA would have its corporations come in and take resources and labor in order to make corporate profits. But ultimately, it was a deal that many countries wanted to sign up to because freedom, democracy, and wealth were things that people genuinely want. The problem is that all of this money wasn't distributed back at home, and now we see that America is retreating from its own empire, from its own power that it developed, and going to America first, because so many millions of Americans weren't feeling the benefit of this power that the USA developed. So it seems to me the short-sightedness and the greed of the elites of this world has led to this fragmentation, whereas actually if they really led with benevolence and morality, then yeah, maybe they would stay in power. So what does this wisdom mean for you and I? For me, it's just don't forget that benevolence, goodness, morality is not just weakness and being naive, but actually a powerful force. And if we can put pressure on our politicians and economic systems through our own self-awareness, then we can advocate for a more moral and just world. Applying it to AI, could it be that instead of just seeing ourselves as warring nations, we develop the humility and wisdom to say that AI should be a tool to serve humanity, and we create global AI ethics boards to shape its development. All right, but this leads us to another question, which is that if the best leaders don't control with force, but they lead with wisdom, that's great if it's the humans leading. But this philosopher wants to raise a question of really who is in control. Once I dreamed I was a butterfly, but when I awoke, I did not know if I was Zhuangzi dreaming I was a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming I was Zhuangzi. Zhuangzi asks challenging questions like that. He wants us to really think about who we are. When we dream, is it just me dreaming and it's happening in my brain, or is it something else going on? And he's not giving you an answer either way, but he's just asking you to question, do you really know who you are? And do you really think that you are in control of your life? We think we are programming AI, but what if AI is programming us? Who's the master and who's the servant here? ChatGPT 3.0 was only released in 2022, with such early days in the evolution of the power of AI, and yet already it's shaping so much. AI decides what we read, what we watch, and in so doing shapes our beliefs, our political views. One of the real dangers of AI is not just that it's going to turn into the Terminator and control us, but instead that it will shape our reality so much that we will narrow ourselves into predictable mechanical patterns that we aren't even aware of. And even Zhuangzi, thousands of years ago, he complained about technology back then. He's got a funny story where there's a farmer in the field plowing the field with his own hands. Confucius comes up to him and says, there's something called a plow where an ox can help you till the fields. Why don't you use that? And then this person representing Zhuangzi's philosophy said, I don't want to use technology and tools. I'll lose myself and become a mechanical man. So he was saying that about a plow thousands of years ago. And today, our beliefs, our thoughts, our behaviors are so much shaped by AI. And so we need to take responsibility, the ability to choose our response, to really find the truth of who we are beneath the AI. So how do we do that? Well, one of the key practices in Buddhism and Taoism is meditation. Fundamental practice to help you understand how your thoughts work, the nature of reality. And with that understanding, you gain clarity around who you are and how you work. And then can we take time outside the technological realm and go into nature and to be spontaneous and to play, to be skeptical about the information that we receive, understanding that we are being fed in our echo chambers the information that we already believe in, because that's what keeps us scrolling and engaged, and then the corporations can sell us advertising. Zhuangzi's philosophy is a philosophy of freedom. Find yourself, enjoy being yourself in your uniqueness. Don't become rigid and mechanical. And with that understanding and clarity, that's also when we can become more informed citizens, where we can hold our politicians to account. The finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. So this is one of the key teachings in Buddhism, Chan Buddhism or Zen Buddhism to be precise. And it talks about the limits of knowledge. What does that phrase mean? Let's explore it. So let's take my example of, probably you feel similar as well, of wanting to find peace in your mind. For me, I'd read the books, listen to the podcast, go to the courses, searching for peace. The problem with that is, even if you read every single book about what peace is, that isn't peace, right? It's like somebody saying, look, peace is over there. You just got to walk that way. And you're obsessed with their words, what they're saying, and you're getting stuck in the knowledge. What we need to do is the words are helpful. They help us understand where to go, and then let them go, and then take the steps. Wisdom is inherently experiential. Knowledge is analytical in the brain. Wisdom is knowledge applied. And so for peace, it's only then when we really find a quality of presence, where we let go of needing to be different from where we are and to enjoy without resistance the present moment, then we find peace. It's an experience. Now, if we apply this to AI, all these claims around how AI is going to change everything and it's going to be so wonderful with all this knowledge that AI is going to give us. The problem is that it's still us human beings with all our flaws that are going to wield the power of AI. Knowledge is not enough. What we need is wisdom. The wisdom to hold all of this power that humanity is developing. And so I'm sending you my best wishes to continue your journey of self-awareness, keep going. And a question to end on is, when future generations look back to these times, they'll ask, who shaped AI, the wise or the powerful? What answer will we leave them?